Hey, I'm Seeker, and this past January I made not one, not two, but three games as a solo dev. You can play them for free on itch.io, and all the code and assets are open source, like my dear friend Godot right here. Let's talk about the process of developing them, what I aim for, and the three big lessons I've learned about prototyping while doing this experiment. Speed of Light is a space exploration game. You control a comet gliding through space. My keyword were space and vibe. I simply wanted to create a universe and visit it. I had no real gameplay idea, but I recall this principle where spacecraft are using gravity around the planet to slingshot themselves towards greater distances. So I went to work and made an almost realistic gravity implementation. They started orbiting around. Finally getting it to work was a great moment. Avec la musique en plus. So here I am. Halfway through the week I gave myself a prototype and I can orbit around, but that's it. No gameplay. That's when I added the ability to aim after a collision with a planet or star. It worked pretty well, and you could alternate between being chill and orbiting around to blasting planets like they were made of butter. The gameplay was still super barebone, and you had absolutely zero control once you've chosen a direction, but I had to push it too far. I had to tell myself that the universe should be infinite, and I spent so much time implementing some kind of procedural generation, so much that it has become the first lesson. Procedural generation takes way too much time to implement and fine-tune and needs a lot of assets to feel right. Not enough fine-tuning and everything will ever feel samey or fully random. Not enough assets and everything looks the same. So my procedural generation has no impact on game feel, except that it sometimes throws the game whenever I wanted to generate a new chunk. Great job, Seeker. I spent 2 days on Farlgerann, and these 2 days could have been spent refining the gameplay loop, polishing the vibe, which was the actual important part of the game, with more interaction or interesting planet or stars, tweaking the scale of everything so it really feels like space. I forgot what my game was about, which is the vibe of flying through space, and the end product that you can play today is suffering from it. Anyway, enough space talk. Let's crash on a random planet and become a monkey. Monkey Swing is a momentum platformer about swinging from branches to branches to reach new spots in the jungle. I have a thing for the concept of movement mastery, where you slowly improve your understanding of a toolkit to move around in a fast, fluid, and sometimes original ways. Here, you play as a monkey who can grab branches to swing around and climb on trees and rocks and such. It was really fun to develop, as I've made a physics platformer before and could reuse a lot of the physics calculation, so I had a playable version really early. This brings us directly to the second lesson. Would you rather have an amazing 3D model of a monkey, or a functional physics and control system when developing a platformer prototype? Know what is important in your game and focus on it. Ignore as much as possible the rest. Reduce what you need to do. I grabbed a random 3D model of a monkey on Google, cut the arms and legs and called it a day. Reuse code. My favorite example is my forever state machine. I made one basic state machine back in 2022, but I am importing every game I do since then and slowly improving over time. As a solo developer, I enjoy building myself my own library of assets and functionality, and it comes in clutch when prototyping. Using add-ons made by other people is also a great way to speed things up, especially for more complex tasks. You could still do them yourself once you're committed to a project and have a lot more time. Recycle assets from your older projects. In the next project I'm going to present to you, the 3D model of the character you're playing as was modeled back in February 2025 and been sitting on my hard drive ever since. Back to Monkey Swing. The most difficult thing was level design, and I think I would need a full day of playtest and iteration to get it right. I didn't account for playtesting and tweaking values in my schedule, and this is felt through all the 3 games I made. Balancing is sometimes a mess, the level design is all over the place, and the control really need fine-tuning and polish. Since I am first and foremost a developer, the game and level design is one of my weak points, and I should have accounted and compensated for it. This is the bonus lesson. Knowing your strengths, weaknesses and limits is really important, especially if you're working alone. This will allow you to budget time more efficiently and will orient the kind of game you will make. I know I don't have the motivation to work on the same project for more than 3 to 4 months, so I'm scoping my project accordingly. I enjoy and I'm confident in my ability in making physics simulation or complex gameplay system, which in turn makes some certain game idea go from way over scoping to maybe in scope. In short, know yourself and be yourself. Let's see how I stayed true to myself in the last game. Schmothers wasn't born of a vibe I wanted to emulate and share with players. More so, it was born for my love of the platform fighter genre. I have played them competitively for almost 10 years at a decently high level. I know how hard they are to get into and how hard you are hooked once you get it. I know about the technical sides and challenge behind them. I know the history of the games. I know all about that and more, and as a result, I was super confident in my ability to make something cool with the genre. But I also know that networking is way overscoping for my time frame, such that my Platfighter became single player as a result. Playing alone in a fighting game is kinda boring, so I designed roguelike elements to add variety and replayability. This was really an iterative process. The current design goal is a roguelike Platfighter, where you'd start with a bare-bone kit and improve and add moves over a run. Being the last prototype I've made, I could already use the lesson learned in the first 2. So no procedural anything in Schmothers, and I reused, reduce, reuse, recycle as much as possible. But I still made a mistake, and a big one. Have you heard about the prototype for Zelda Breath of the Wild? Would you guessed it, it's a 2D prototype. It's a 3D game and they made a 2D prototype. I'm making a 2D game and I made a 3D prototype? Wait, why did I do that? It's so stupid. I had to deal with physics bugs that made my character slip behind the actual stage. I had to redo a few features that are included by default in 2D, like one-way collision and a smooth camera. All of that so it would be easier for animating. Yep, it was easier, but the cost makes it a bad move in hindsight. To be honest, I think I made the mistake on all of my 3 games. I could have prototyped them all in 2D, and once I had confirmed that the vibe or the gameplay I was going for was working and matching my expectation, I could have remade them in 3D. We're near the end. Time for a recap. Procedural generation needs too much time to implement and fine-tune to be effective in a prototyping environment. There is of course exceptions, but you know, rule of thumb. Reduce the work, reuse code, recycle assets. Make one tree and use it forever. Even better, just grab a free asset from Kenny or whatever. Know yourself, your strength, weakness and limits. Make games that appeal to you and that match your skill set. Will you be able to test what you want using only simple 2D? If yes, pick 2D. If not, do fancy 2D. If fancy 2D is not enough, maybe do 3D. Right now, the plan is to take Schmothers and push it as far as I can in 2 to 3 months, then release it on Steam afterwards. The process of developing the game will be streamed and you're all invited to watch. I hope you enjoyed this video and took some interesting bits from it. What's your take on prototyping? You can come talk about it in my Discord or in the comment section. See you next time, and that's a wrap.